Snow fell gently outside the small, dimly lit house on Pinewood Lane, blanketing the world in quiet. Inside, 35-year-old Sarah Bennett folded a stack of freshly washed clothes, her hands moving mechanically. The sounds of her 8-year-old daughter Lily, humming a faint Christmas tune in the other room, filled the stillness, but it was far from cheerful. This was their first Christmas without Daniel, Sarah's husband and Lily's father, who had passed away in a tragic accident earlier that year. Gone were the laughter, the excitement of stringing up lights, the smell of Daniel's famous gingerbread cookies. Instead, the season felt hollow, weighed down by grief and an emptiness that Sarah couldn't seem to shake. The stranger at the market. It was 2 days before Christmas when Sarah decided to venture out to the local farmers' market. She hadn't planned on celebrating much this year, but Lily deserved at least a small tree and a few decorations. The little girl had tried to be brave, but Sarah could see the sadness lingering in her bright blue eyes. Bundled in scarves and mittens, they wandered through the stalls, the smell of roasted chestnuts and hot cocoa filling the crisp air. While Lily marveled at a table of handmade ornaments, Sarah's attention was drawn to a man behind a stall selling wreaths. He was tall, with kind eyes and a warm smile, and something about him was comforting. "Looking for something festive?" the man asked, his voice deep but gentle. "I'm not sure festive is the right word," Sarah replied with a forced smile. He tilted his head, studying her for a moment. "Sometimes the best way to find joy is to let it sneak up on you." His name was Jack, a carpenter who had moved to town earlier that year to start fresh after a difficult divorce. Before Sarah knew it, they were talking about everything from favorite Christmas traditions to the challenges of starting over. When Lily ran over with a hand-painted ornament, Jack gave it to her without charge, earning a wide grin from the little girl. By the time they left the market, Sarah carried a small wreath Jack had insisted she take as a gift. "Merry Christmas," he'd said, and for the first time in months, Sarah felt the faintest flicker of warmth in her heart. The invitation. On Christmas Eve, a knock came at the door. Sarah opened it to find Jack standing on the porch, holding a tray of cookies. "I know this might seem forward," he said, his cheeks pink from the cold, "but I thought you and Lily might like to join me for Christmas Mass tomorrow. It's a tradition of mine, and it seems like the kind of thing better shared." Sarah hesitated. Church hadn't been part of her life since Daniel passed. But Lily appeared behind her, clutching the ornament Jack had given her, her eyes alight with curiosity. "Can we go, Mom?" Lily asked softly. After a moment, Sarah nodded. "We'd love to. A night of healing." The church was warm and glowing with candlelight, a stark contrast to the cold night outside. Jack met them at the door, and they sat together near the front. As the choir began to sing "O Holy Night," Sarah found herself overwhelmed by emotion. For months, she had carried her grief alone, but sitting there, surrounded by the beauty of the music and the kindness of a man who barely knew her, she felt something shift. Jack's presence wasn't intrusive or overbearing. It was simply steady, like the glow of the candles. When the service ended, Jack invited them back to his workshop, where he had set up a small tree covered in handmade ornaments. Over cups of hot cocoa, Lily chattered happily while Jack shared stories of his own struggles and how he found solace in simple acts of kindness. "You don't have to carry it all alone, Sarah," Jack said gently, meeting her eyes. Something in his words unlocked the floodgates, and Sarah began to cry. Jack didn't try to fix it or fill the silence. He simply let her feel. A Christmas morning surprise. The next morning, Sarah woke to the smell of pancakes. Rushing to the kitchen, she found Jack and Lily laughing as they attempted to make breakfast. "Good morning," Jack said with a sheepish grin. "We might have made a bit of a mess." The sight was so unexpected, so joyfully chaotic, that Sarah couldn't help but laugh, a real, genuine laugh that she hadn't felt in months. Later, they opened a few small gifts under the tiny tree Sarah and Lily had decorated the night before. Jack presented Lily with a wooden dollhouse he had carved himself, her eyes lighting up with pure delight. For Sarah, he handed over a simple wooden star. "For your tree," he said. A reminder that even in the darkest nights, there's always light. Tears filled her eyes, but this time, they were tears of gratitude. The promise of new beginnings. As the day unfolded, Sarah realized that while the pain of losing Daniel would never fully fade, there was room in her heart for healing and hope. Jack's presence wasn't a replacement for what she had lost. It was a reminder that life could still hold beauty, even after heartbreak. Standing by the window that evening, watching Lily play with her new dollhouse, Sarah turned to Jack. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" he asked. "For reminding me that it's okay to let joy sneak back in." Jack smiled, and in that moment, Sarah knew that while their journey was just beginning, it was one filled with promise, warmth, and the magic of new beginnings.